I just really want to thank all of you for having coffee and holding a conversation together as entrepreneurs. This is truly amazing. And mentoring the both of you today is the man, George. He's a founder of many companies that spans across various industries like fashion to sports brands to wastewater management to property development to publications and household retail. There's really so much to learn from you.
Thank you.
So I'm very curious to find out, how did the both of you meet George? Okay, starting with you, Farhan.
First and foremost, for me, I'm a venture builder and I advise up to about 500 over startup founders over the last few years. And I also lecture at universities. Being someone who mentors the young, I also need to learn, right? When I was informed in the Entrepreneurs Network, they say, hey, there's George speaking. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that I would get to meet him in person and be mentored by him.
And how about you? Kopi 老板娘
Kopi Mei.
Kopi Mei,
Still very young. Okay.
But I call you 老板娘 because you and your family own this business, right? How did you meet George?
For me, because I'm at the stall every day, and George was really just another very jovial uncle lah, yeah, that was my first impression. So he would come maybe once or twice a week to the store. He would always be very friendly, like, 老板娘, 两杯啊, 两杯你知道哦. Over time, I think we got to know each other a little bit better. In between, while he's waiting for his kopi, we would chat. So he was telling me how my branding is very good, I'm young. The coffee that I serve is very good,
We're
fresh.
drinking your coffee now.
Yeah. And the toast that we have here, very innovative. And he's like, it's a great way to start and to go far. And he'll share with me these little ideas and made me think like, yeah, maybe I'm not confined to this little store in a hawker center. I could go further, not just in Singapore, but overseas. So I guess that's where our little uncle and Kopi Mei interaction kind of began lah, yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Can I ask you, when you go to the hawker center to eat and drink, what made you decide to go to her coffee stall to buy kopi?
The quality of the tea and the quality of the coffee is. So when I presented to the minister in Morocco, I was so proud, I say, this is our household brand.
Yes,
Alright.
yes.
Full endorsement. Sure.
So when I look at her store, the first thing my mind say, this one must open 25. Because the coffee is good, the tea is good, the bread is good. Take a look at the bread.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm a bread man, I know. In 1991, when I set up my first World Sports store, only one in Yau Han. If you look at the journey, I expanded it over the years, right? In the whole Singapore. Then I would cross to Malaysia, I crossed to Taiwan, Indonesia, Brunei. Then I crossed to Australia and New Zealand. Not all will be successful, all the country you go. Some you need to close, some you need to open. It's okay.
Hope to go through what you went through as well. Open, close, learn. Something like I can see also for myself.
You look at independence, right? This group of leaders have built a foundation for Singapore. Many people was talking about the first generations easy because they build. And our generation now, we are in a very modern and advanced country now. We're no longer like the third world country. Our market is mature. A lot of people believe it's very difficult. I always believe, right? Every level of the people can be a good entrepreneur. Entrepreneur doesn't mean you must be as successful as Jack Ma. I'm in the slum when I was small to try to find a few cents for my pocket money. So when you go through the 15 years, that is tough for the whole family. One day I was talking to my father, Papa, I say, your son will never make it to university. Let me start my career.
15 years old, you told your papa, I said, Papa, 我唔係讀書了.
Yeah.
Correct? When I was 15 years old, it was my mother who told me, 你唔係讀書了.
Oh no.
Because my grades were so bad.
Yeah.
So to her, it's like, 你咪了我女啦，你咪讀啦，你咪讀啦，出嚟做工啦。學見 not bad, right? I'm 46 this year. Well, of a slightly different generation, but even during my generation, when my grades were not great, my parents' mindset was very, very simple. It was just survival mode. If you cannot make it in school, you come out and work to try to see if you can make it in life or not. It was as simple as that.
Yeah.
I became the person whom I am today because I chose not to give up.
Thank you for sharing your story as well.
Now, this is a question for all of you, okay? How do you use your resources to create social awareness and social good for the society?
I'm a venture builder and I also mentor startups. I can use that to either teach kids about entrepreneurship for free, or I can, do things like advocate female empowerment in the scene of entrepreneurship and root for more female founders, right? So it doesn't always have to do with money. It can start with the things that you have in your backyard, in your warehouse. Yeah, so I think there are many ways that we can give back. But I think the most important thing is to create that impact.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you come from, whether you're rich or you're poor, you have a lot of wealth or not.
Yeah.
I have one little example. It's not me, but my friend who works as a hawker. They sell Peranakan food. Every once a month, they will cook Peranakan food and bless all the other vendors who are around them because they genuinely want all of the hawkers to be happy people. So that's their way of paying it forward. That, we're all in this line together is very hard work. When we share food, we do it all together like a kampong. How about you, because you're also in the hawker business doing coffee?
I'm a very average Singaporean. I do run a business and I happen to also hire a lot of young students. As much as possible, in my very small way, I mentor these young students, especially the younger generation.
Yeah.
My form of social contribution is when they leave us, they are better people for the society.
At the age of 55, my wife Lisa and myself, we was discussing about whether we should form this foundation or charitable organization. Both of us are co-founders, and then we fund the organization by ourselves. So we do in a small way at the beginning, meaningful one, the cardboard collector to the senior. We visit them and we deliver them the trolley. We are happy at their age. They find means, they don't have to ask from anybody, right? That's something I find very encouraging. So we have become many, many friends. We invite them to our house. The other areas we call the disabled. So I see my brother when we were young, is handicapped. Of course, I see my mom was a stroke patient, a wheelchair at all times. In this area, we feel more closer to us. So we will do our part. If we can serve them, there's something that we love to do at Belinda.
How do you think we can create a better future together as Singaporeans?
I've had the privilege to be more regional. I will compare what we have in Singapore with that in neighboring countries like Malaysia and Indonesia. There's a lot of concern nationally that has been mentioned about how will we fare in the next maybe 25 years, right? SG 75, SG 100. We've always had the privilege of being like the financial center of Southeast Asia. Although we are small, but we have a very special place in the region. If I have the opportunity to be at George's age, right, and I reflect, will we still be able to fortify our position as the financial center, or can we continue to, be a nation with high GDP? Where will we be? What I'm about to say will be a bit unpopular, so there'll be like 50-50 lah, right?
It's okay, we have coffee and have
Don't
honest
throw
chats.
the coffee at me. But I think generally change begins with us first. And then later when you have become the best version of yourself, you have done something great, and then people see and they trust, they know that, oh, okay, you've done your best, they see the potential in you, people will give you advice. Then they say, hey, you know what, you do this, if you need help, let me know, and maybe I can bring a few people. Help only comes when we work hard. And I have one sibling of mine, right, he's doing his degree. To be honest, he isn't in one of the best schools, but the employers are coming to him and say, you want internship or not? And they're coming to him, big companies, it's because of his attitude. and his willingness to learn.
Beautifully said. It's the attitude that you carry that has longevity. And how about you, Faye? What are your aspirations as a businesswoman, as a hawker?
I'm a hawker, I'm at the stall every day, and I come into contact with Singaporeans from all walks of life. People can be a little bit critical. So what I do wish for Singapore is that we continue on with this kampong spirit. We are not only hard workers, but we also help each other out. So it's very similar to the community that we have, this Singaporean culture that we should advocate and continue going into the future.
I saw one movie, Gladiator. You will look at the last part, right? All the slaves are the fighters who reached to the final, right? The game was a very dirty game. But all these warriors, if they don't stand together, they do not have a chance to survive. I love it because I see him calling all the fellow warriors come together. Now in 2023, Singaporeans at this point in time must prepare to come together and stand together. Whether in a big way or small way, we all help each other, help the community to go through the difficult times.
We all need to be community-centered instead of being self-centered, but we all try our very best to look out for one another, coming together as one. And that's unity, because it's not just about mentorship, it's life lessons that I believe each and every one of us should learn from. So I just want to say cheers
Cheers. Thank
to
you.
this wonderful,
Thank you.
wonderful newfound friendship.